everybody, thank you for watching. This is our 3.10 video on periodic trends day 3, and this video is about electronegativity. So what I want you to do is take a look at this Pauling electronegativity values for each element on the periodic table. So the question is, what would you say is the general trend for electron negativity by just looking at these values on the periodic table? And then we'll talk about what is electronegativity. So what I see on this periodic table is that our noble gases do not have any electronegativity values, right? So that must play a role with the trend. And then if I take a look at all these elements that are in this upper right-hand corner, fluorine is our most electronegative element with an electronegativity of 4.0. If I go this way on the periodic table, I notice that our electronegativity values are decreasing. As I go down on the periodic table, the least electronegative element is this right here, 0.8. So what could the trend possibly be? So let's talk about what is electronegativity. So electronegativity is a measure of how attractive electrons are to an atom. So what that means is these electrons for nitrogen, they could be attracted to electrons for fluorine. So the electronegativity values measures how attracted these electrons are to each other. So let's talk about the general trend. By looking at this Pauling electronegativity values, we know that going from our left side of the periodic table to our right side, our electronegativity is increasing. If you look at the bottom of our periodic table and we're going up, you can also see that these values are also increasing. So this is the general trend. Going left to right on the periodic table, our electronegativity values are going to increase, and going from the bottom to the top, our electronegativity is again going to increase. One thing I do want to note is take a look at our noble gases. They do not play a role in electronegativity. So they're not part of the electronegativity table because they are not attracted to any other element because they're mostly stable. They have 8 electrons and they're happy having 8 electrons. So let's try this problem. Taking a look at these two elements, which element has a lower electronegativity? So we know going from left to right on the periodic table, our electronegativity is increasing. Therefore, the element with the lowest electronegativity is going to be this one. If I have these 3 different elements, oxygen, helium, and polonium, I want to list them in decreasing electronegativity. So take a minute to pause this video and try this problem. So this is where oxygen, helium, and polonium is on the periodic table. If we wanted to list these elements in decreasing electronegativity, that means the first element is going to be the one that is the most electronegative. And in this case, it's going to be oxygen because it's further all the way to the top and all the way to the right of the periodic table. The next element is going to be Se because it's kind of in the middle, it's right over here. The least electronegative element here is going to be Po. So your order should look like this. The next thing I want you to do is take a look at all 3 trends that we talked about on the periodic table. We talked about atomic radius, we talked about ionization energy, and electronegativity. You know that you know all the trends if you're able to list the trends and describe each one and how to figure out what they are on the periodic table. So this is a quick review of all 3 trends that we talked about. You notice that atomic radius is the only one that is opposite. Ionization energy and electronegativity, they kind of have the same trend. So the only one that you kind of really need to know is that atomic radius is opposite of ionization and electronegativity. And remember, it's inversely proportional to ionization energy. Thank you for watching.